Different children have their brains that myelinate at different rates. When a part of the neurons, the functioning of the brain, if you will, it's not like all children are born and their brains are at the exact same state and they can do the exact same things at the exact same time. And it's not even in the exact same order. But really what counts is where they are and what their next step is to help them go forward. And wherever they end up is the best that they can end up. You don't want enlightenment for every child. That's one step worse than you wanting it for yourself.
It's like forced enlightenment.
Yes, exactly. I want you to be enlightened.
So I just was curious, what do you see as the greatest limitation between men and women in their quest to relate in a loving and compassionate way?
Well, the biggest limitation that women have is that they're women.
Yes.
And the biggest limitation that men have is that they're men. Now,
welcome back to Operation Evil. This is episode 77, and I'm going to call this one Allison Mack from Smallville to Cult Thrills.
Oh,
I'm your host, Nyoka.
you made me think of Mary Mack dressed in black with silver buttons all down her back. And you did a nice little rhyme.
I tried. Do you like it? You like it?
I do.
Ever?
Anyway,
I do like it. Introduce yourself.
I'm Rachel.
Yay, Rachel.
And let me just say that we're going to have a guest soon.
Yes.
Like next week or two. Is it 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And it's going to be fabulous.
Of course it will be. And before we jump into anything else, speaking of guests, if you did not listen to the last episode, Reaper Clean on the Scene, you need to, because it's amazing. No, really though, it's really good. And we had so much good feedback from you guys, like how much you learned and how interesting their stories were, and that you want to hear more from them. And I've even had some people say it was their favorite episode. So they did great.
Many people. Yeah. And even if, it's not anything that's going to like destroy you like terribly if you listen to it.
Oh,
There's
no.
a little bit of just discretion advised, but even if you don't want to listen to it, which why wouldn't you? You're listening now, but you should definitely go check out what they stand for. Like Amber and Calvin. I almost want to call him Colin all the time.
I know, every time. That's okay. It's all right.
But the things that they stand for, suicide prevention, and just they are the kindest people. So
yeah, we linked their social media tags in the show notes on the last episode too. So give them a follow. They were so good. Thankful to have them on last time. So now we're finally getting around to like one of my favorite subjects, cults. And Rachel just covered one in our Patreon episode. She just covered David Koresh, and it was very good. Thank you. And like she has all this info just stuck in her brain all the time of all these different cases. I don't know how she does it, but she does. And I was like, what can I do? Because then I thought I'll cover, Manson story, right? Like, why not? And then I was like, no. And then I call. Okay, so I always like to cover him because he looks like a lot like my dad looked when my dad was younger. So I joke around.
He really does.
And I joke around and I call him Dad, but obviously he's not. But I'm like, I'm not going to cover Dad's cult. I'm going to do something else. Something.
She's not kidding either. Like, she came up to me and she was like, I don't think I'm going to do story on Dad's cult. I'm not going to cover Dad.
Yeah. Everybody's heard it. Maybe some people have heard the one I'm going to cover, but maybe it's a little, hopefully it's a little different from what you've heard. I don't know. Buckle in though, because hopefully it's a crazy one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be so good because I bet you more people have heard about the show, not about the cult.
Yeah, the cult's name is NXIVM. That much I will tell you.
That sounds like a freaking, isn't that like a pill, like an allergy pill or something?
I was thinking it sounds like a shampoo.
Yes, a shampoo or like a gas pill.
Either way, it's not horrible. It's not a horrible name, but what they do is horrible. So listen up. Listen up. Now, Allison Mack, if you don't know, she was in Smallville. Did you ever watch Smallville? I did not.
But is that the one where it's like Superman's child or something?
I don't know. I just know it is about Superman, though. It is about, and I think it was like on the CW or something. I didn't get into it. I didn't watch it, but I'm totally straying from what I wrote down. So I need to go back to what I wrote down because I'll mess myself up. So, because I don't have all this info cards in my brain at all times. But
don't
Allison Mack,
cards.
Yeah, don't shuffle your cards. Please don't. Allison Mack, who is now 40, so she's about our age, was best known for her role in the television series Smallville as Superman's close friend, Chloe Sullivan. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison for her involvement in NXIVM. So NXIVM is an Albany area executive coaching self-help company whose members pay thousands of dollars for workshops. And for years, NXIVM had operated as a secretive self-help business with outposts across North America, Canada, and Mexico. And the founder of this group is Keith Raniere. And his devoted followers called him Vanguard. And the reason why he wanted to be called Vanguard is because apparently he had a favorite arcade game when he was younger that had to do with a Vanguard character. I don't know, but that's how he got the Vanguard name that he wanted. So they know him as Vanguard, and he's like this hyper intelligent inventor and philosopher. And many critics see him differently. They say Keith, who grew up in Rockland County, is actually leading a dangerous cult-like organization, one with deep ties to a sorority that made international headlines after allegedly burning a logo with his initials into the flesh of its female members. But before I get into that part of it, I'm going to kind of take you back in time on the history of NXIVM. So it's what is it? What is it all about? Well, since the late 1990s, an estimated 16,000 people enrolled in courses offered by NXIVM, which claims to bring the greater self-fulfillment by eliminating psychological and emotional barriers. Most participants would take workshops like executive success programs, in which development was measured using a sash system called the Stripe Path to signify ranks in the organization, which is similar to the belt system in martial arts. And the sash was literally like a sash, like what Girl Scouts would wear, the sash across, right? But anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. Most people would do these workshops and just live a normal life. But others have become deeply, deeply involved, giving up their careers and their family and all their friends and just everything they knew before. It reminds me so much of Scientology. And if you're into Scientology, I don't mean to disrespect or anything, but in my opinion, it's all a little cult-like, and you're also paying for courses for enlightenment and whatever And I hear a lot of stories of where they will leave their family and friends and life behind and just totally immerse themselves in it.
Yeah,
Now,
like if there's any kind of organization that makes you not be a part of your family or friends anymore, that's just not good.
yeah, it's a red flag for me. Definitely.
Hmm.
I don't like it.
Isolation.
Yeah. So, in an interview with Rolling Stone, cult expert Diane Ben Scooter, and I'm sure I'm probably saying that wrong, like I always do, but anyways, boiled down to NXIVM being, quote, an old bag of tricks repackaged, which regurgitated like universal truths about how to improve yourself and how to look closer at things that are getting in the way of your success and fear. So I could be like, so for me, I would be like, Rachel, you really need to take my workshop classes because you are standing in your own way of becoming successful in your career. And if you just take these workshops, you can be the best version of yourself. And they would be like, well, of course I want to be the best version of myself. Of course I want to succeed and have all the things. It's an easy thing to do. So that's what a lot of these people do. People will fall for it. Now, former members described Keith as a manipulator. He would have sex with some female members. He would urge women to follow a near starvation diet just to achieve the type of body that he found attractive. It was not healthy in any way, shape, or form what he had these women do. The branding was reported in October 2017 by the New York Times. It discussed how 5 women belonging to NXIVM were branded with the logo as part of an initiation into a secret sorority with leaders known as masters, and I'm doing this in quote, masters, collecting nude photographs as collateral if women revealed information about the group. So blackmail is what it is. The article piqued the investigators' interest with the Times and the Albany Times Union reporting that the FBI even questioned NXIVM defectors shortly after. I was not sure what the word defectors meant, so I Googled that, just like I always tell you, Google it.
Google it.
So, defectors are people who quit something despite perceived duty or obligation. So basically what they're saying is the FBI would interview people that were part of NXIVM that no longer are part of NXIVM. They left it.
Oh, so they consider, like, is it NXIVM that calls the people defectors?
Yes, probably,
Like
but it is a word. I mean, it's just a word on it's a label.
Okay.
So, now the branding experience, and this is kind of messed up. Each woman was told to undress and lie on a massage table while 3 others would restrain her legs and shoulders. And according to one of the women, their master, which was a top NXIVM official, instructed them to say, quote, "Master, please brand me. It would be an honor," end quote. And then a female doctor proceeded to use a device to sear a 2-inch square symbol below each woman's hip area. A procedure that took 20 to 30 minutes, mind you. And for hours, you would hear muffled screams and the smell of burning flesh would just fill the room.
Oh my God. So it was like at the very tippy top of their legs?
Yeah, so kind of like your underwear line.
Oh my God.
Yeah. When a complaint was made with the New York State Department of Health against the person who performed the branding, which was the doctor, and another person involved in the process, the agency said it would not look into the complaint because this person was not acting as a doctor when the branding was said to have happened. Isn't that messed up?
Yeah.
A state investigator told them and 2 other women that officials would not pursue their criminal complaint against NXIVM because their actions have been consensual. State medical regulators also declined action on a complaint filed against another physician who, as an experiment, showed women graphically violent films while a brainwave machine and camera was recording their reactions. The women said that they were not warned of some of the clips being violent, and it included footage of 4 women being murdered and dismembered, and no one seemed to listen or care of what this group was doing at this time.
That's ridiculous.
It really is. Years later, after these complaints, it's 2017, and finally at a state level, Governor Andrew Cuomo's administration said it's finally an investigation into the State Department of Health's handling of a complaint filed against 2 doctors associated with NXIVM, including one involved in the branding incident. Furthermore, the Department of Health has entered into a common interest agreement with the Attorney General's office regarding an inquiry of NXIVM-related activities.
Was this in New York?
Yes. Yeah. So after years of being ignored by anyone who has come forward, things are starting to be looked at, which is good. Meanwhile, Keith issued an open letter to his members disputing the depiction of his group, pushing back against claims that anyone had been abused. He sought to distance himself from the sorority, claiming it was not associated with NXIVM or him personally, but he also claimed experts hired by NXIVM, including a forensic psychiatrist and former law enforcement officials, found the sorority members were thriving and happy and healthy and better off, and they haven't been coerced. In the letter, he wrote, quote, "The picture being painted in the media is not how I know our community and friends to be, nor how I experience it myself. However, as an organization and as individuals, we feel it is imperative that we hire experts to ensure there is no merit to these allegations," end quote. During this time, a former member filed a consumer fraud complaint seeking a refund on the $9,000 spent on NXIVM classes. This person stated that, quote, "This company is a cult preying on vulnerable. Oh my God, help me.
Vulnerable.
Thank you, Jesus. Okay. Men and women who are looking for a credible self-help program. Unless forcible confinement, branding, sex with students, and taking people who disagree with the program to court is bona fide business in New York, then I suggest all fees and tuition collected are baseless and fraudulent." Now I'm going to take you back to the present time, or at least during this time, which wasn't that awful long ago. So as Keith was getting closed in on the authorities, he and Allison and some others fled to Mexico to try to do the group stuff there. And he was arrested and sent to the U.S. in March 2018. Allison was arrested a few days later. Now, I just want to say, Allison, I heard on like another podcast or YouTube or something, she was introduced to the group originally by a coworker from Smallville, but she just got really deep in it. Like when Keith found out she was attending like this workshop for a weekend, he sent like his best people there to stay by her side the whole time and just like love bomb her, like just get her in here, get her, because famous people are a good look for your cult, right? I mean, they can get other people and high dollar, members in that group. So they really keyed in on her and it worked. Allison Mack played a key role in the cult by manipulating young women into becoming sex slaves for the group's spiritual leader, Keith, who's now 62. Her celebrity status and influence allowed her to build her empire quickly. In fact, Allison's part of the inner circle attracted millionaires and actors, and she was a top-line master in the all-women subgroup of NXIVM followers known as DOS, or the Vow. So that's like the sorority that we're talking about. So it's like a subgroup center of NXIVM. In which,
so do we know if she was branded?
I don't know. I would assume that she was, but I don't know for sure. No, I don't know. But she definitely had her hand in getting these women and getting them branded. I know that. Now, in the Vow, it's where slaves were branded and they pledged a lifetime of obedience to their masters. Prosecutors said that she became a master for slaves. She ordered them to perform labor, take nude photographs, and in some cases to engage in sex acts with Keith. Allison previously pleaded guilty to the charges and began cooperating with NXIVM leader Keith, and she helped prosecutors with evidence on how he created this secret society of brainwashed women. And she provided information about how Keith encouraged, quote, the use of demeaning and derogatory language, including racial slurs, to humiliate. Why can't I speak? Why?
Because it's late.
Anyway, all those things, right?
Humiliate?
Yes, that's what he would do. Thank you. Oh my God, you're saving me left and right. I'm sure there's more to go.
We save each other.
And then more importantly, she provided a recording of a conversation that she had with Keith about the branding that they did on the women. And the branding should involve, like he said, like maybe their hands probably above their head being held, almost like being tied down, almost sacrificial. That's like what he was saying in this conversation. So at her sentencing, Allison said, quote, "I made choices I will forever regret." She also told the judge that she was filled with remorse and guilt. In a letter she wrote to the court, she read the following: "I am sorry to those of you that I brought to NXIVM. I am sorry I ever exposed you to the nefarious and emotionally abusive schemes of a twisted man. From the deepest part of my heart and soul, I am sorry." While reading her statement to the court, she would weep at times. And she continued to say, "I do not take lightly the responsibility I have in the lives of those I love, and I feel a heavy weight of guilt for having misused your trust, leading you down a negative path." U.S. District Judge Nicholas Gruffalus told her told her he believed her apology was sincere, but said she deserved a serious sentence for using her celebrity to groom victims as a willing and proactive ally, an essential accomplice to Keith's monstrous crimes. Allison had faced between 14 and 17 and a half years behind bars, but her defense team argued that probation or a home confinement sentence was more appropriate. And because of her cooperation with the prosecutors, they agreed that any prison sentence should be below the guideline range and Allison was allowed to remain out on bail in home confinement until surrendering to prison on September 29th, 2021. A victim, Jessica Jones, rejected Allison's apologies, telling the judge to have no mercy. Jessica said in court, quote, "She can blame Keith all she wants, but she is a monster cut from the same cloth. Allison Mack is a predator and an evil human being," end quote. On top of her 3-year measly sentence, she will face a $20,000 fine and be required to complete 1,000 hours of community service. Allison Mack's release date is noted as March 29th, 2024. Keith, however, was sentenced to 120 years in prison for his conviction on sex trafficking charges, racketeering, and forced labor conspiracy. According to the New York Times, Keith is said to have expressed no remorse. NXIVM and Keith were recently the subject of HBO's documentary series called The Vow and the Star series called Seduce Inside the NXIVM Cult. So if you want to learn more about this crazy cult, you can go and check out those documentaries. I did not watch either one of those. I'm sure I will at some point, but I cannot say whether or not they're amazing. Lastly, I just wanted to know, so is NXIVM still active today? And according to an article written by Sophie Hansen, no. While Keith awaited sentencing, the U.S. federal government seized a Delaware company that owned the rights to NXIVM's ideologies, often referred to as tech. So they are disbanded. They are no more. And that's it. That's all I have for you on this cult. And I love cults. I love to talk about them. I don't know. Did that make sense to you?
Yeah, it's just frustrating that, like, really, like, community service, like, what is she gonna do community service to, like, talk to people into doing other shit?
She barely served any time. I know she cooperated, but come on. She's going to be out next year.
That pisses me off, too, when they're like, oh, they get less time because they cooperated.
Yeah, does 3 years? It's like you can go from a minimum of 14 to 3 years. Like,
right.
Come on.
The victims, like, do the victims get any less nightmares or less traumatizing situations? No, they don't.
No. I mean, she was a snake. She would convince these women that it was like this self-help thing and it's going to make you a better person. Meanwhile, they're being branded and sex slaves and I don't know. You need to see this guy because he told everybody he was like this genius and his IQ was so high, but
is he gross?
He looks like your typical cult leader. I'll post a picture of him on our Facebook, but it's like he did an IQ test on the computer. It wasn't even like an official one. And he didn't even finish college and he was on academic probation. So hello. Yeah. I don't know. They fell for it. But Allison Mack, as far as I'm concerned, she's probably done in Hollywood. I'm sure no one's going to pick her up. I mean, I very highly doubt it. Smallville will be the only thing that she did. And
hopefully it won't be a thing where she can sell her story or anything like that.
I don't think you can profit from that anymore like you used to.
Is that statewide? I wonder if every state has adopted that.
I think so, but I can't say 100%, but I feel like the person who committed the act and the writer cannot profit off these stories. I could be wrong, and if you guys know better, just message us and let us know. I'm kind of curious, but
you know what? I think, remember the Amy Fisher story?
Yeah.
I think, didn't that happen in New York? So if that's the case, then no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. From what I remember, because remember, like when she was going through the trial, she needed money and she tried to sell her story. Which
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And they wrote the story, right? But they just didn't make any money. Or am I thinking of something else?
No, I think you're right. Because I think like the law went into effect like right before or right after or something.
Yeah. They learned their lesson on that from past serial killers and stuff, making a fortune.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting, and I really knew nothing about Allison Mack. And that's not the only thing she's ever been in. I know she was in other things. That's just her best role that she had.
Thanks for telling us that story.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So if you can't get enough Operation Evil, consider supporting the podcast. There are many perks, and the perks really is you get to listen to more of us. Okay. You get an extra episode every month. You get a shout out when you join. Like, who doesn't want that? Right. But anyway, join us. It's fun. We have 19 episodes ready to listen. So do it. But if you can't join our Patreon, consider buying us a coffee. The link is in the show notes. Or if you want to support us for free, you can do that by sharing our Facebook page and telling your friends about our podcast, or rating our show on whatever app you listen to us on. I don't know. It just those little things, they really help and they get the word out. And we want to do that, especially bringing on all these guests. We have amazing guests, ready. This will happen. We will have some amazing guests in the future, and we need everybody to know about it. So yeah, we appreciate all of you. So anyways, if it looks like a cult and it smells like a cult, it probably is a cult. Okay. So just don't do it. Just don't.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Let's not. Okay. Unless if I start a cult, and then you can join that one.
The Operation Evil cult.
Yeah. It could work. I don't know.
Sure.
I'll start making an outline of things I want to achieve, like taking all your money and making you leave your family and friends. No, I'm just kidding.
The rules have to be that you drink moon water.
Yeah. Yes.
That's actually, would be kind of a good thing though, right?
Yeah, definitely. And take, bathe in it too, and like hold some crystals in your hand and manifest things into the universe that you want. So yeah, that sounds good. I like it.
You have to listen to certain bands.
Absolutely. And it cannot be Shinedown.
Hell no. Or Five Finger Death Punch. You're out.
You're out. I don't care what else you listen to. It's an automatic kick out for sure.
So send $150 today and join this program.
Anyway.
Just a tittle. Just a tittle.
Just the tittle. Oh, I love how you say tittle. And I have to tell everybody, because I was like talking to Rob and I said, just a tittle. And he's looking at me like, what? And like, it means like a little. And Rachel says it all the time. And he's like, of course she does. Of course.
And then there's that face, that famous face that he makes.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm sorry, this chair is squeaky as hell.
Oh my, that brings back the old days of our beginning episodes. Oh, anyway. Oh, bring back the squeaky chairs. No, let's not. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.
Thanks for your time. Bye.